What do our political candidates and TV network executives have in common? None? Think harder. At the moment, the former is campaigning and making promises to their constituents, registered voters, while the latter is campaigning to launch their shows to their constituents, mainly advertisers and audiences. However, both spheres tend to overpromise from the realities. In the former, the candidates are doing so even if they didn't factor in funding constraints, tenure, and a sense of urgency to meet the needs of their constituents. In the latter, they do it for the shows even if they didn't consider budget constraints, time and money, external circumstances such as the potential surge of COVID-19, and timing to meet the demands of its viewers. They must, however, be held accountable in both yet distinct cases. For the former, voters are keeping an eye on the winning officials to see if they can deliver on their promises within 3 or 6 years, depending on the position. For the latter, viewers are expecting their much anticipated shows to air this year. In this video, we'll take a look at 3 networks programs that were promised this year: GMA, TV5, and Net25. How many percent of their programs have been completed? And which of their upcoming shows will still have a chance to premiere this year? Before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more future content. During the last holiday season, the 3 television networks have promised the following shows slated for 2022. GMA debuted 40 plus shows on the main channel on their first recorded New Year's Eve special, including carryovers from the previous 2 years' plans that were thwarted by the pandemic. They include the second book of their successful series and the return of Family Feud. At the end of the first quarter, 10 had been delivered, accounting for approximately a quarter of a total. Raising Mamay will be up next week. Last December, TV5 promised 9 shows, including the second seasons of localized Masked Singer, The Wall, and Rolling in It. So far, only The Masked Singer Pilipinas has been released, and La Chica is now on the air today. Top Class, a pre-pop talent search program and a possible spiritual successor to Pop Pinoy, was announced last March as the 10th program. It will be hosted by Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Gray. Having said that, 2/10 of the programs have been delivered. Net25, despite being not a national television network, promised 8 local shows at their New Year's countdown in Ciudad de Victoria in Bukawi, Bulacan, not including the election coverage and its dedicated special programs. The ninth one, announced last March, will be a gag show presented by Joey De Leon. As of this recording, half of the list, or 45%, with Joey's show, has been delivered. Having said that, Team Templo Central is outperforming expectations. Team Timog Avenue is on the track, and Team Reliance is slightly falling short after Q1 2022. This video, however, does not end there. With 40 plus shows awaiting pending dates for the rest of the year, how can we determine whether or not every TV series will materialize? I conducted 3 monthly surveys on the subject. Each program in the pipeline is assigned a 5-point Likert scale. The weight of the response opinions options is as follows: a very unlikely receives 0%, unlikely receives 25%, 50-50 receives 50%, likely receives 75%, and very likely receives 100%. The overall score of the pending program is therefore the weighted mean of them. Placing it in a Cartesian coordinate system, the x-axis represents the month of the year, while the y-axis represents the probability of its materialization. Each show will have a y-intercept of 0.5 or 50% at the start of the year or month of its announcement, because the show was neither had an announced premiere date nor shelved at the time. We try to predict the fate of the weighted shows based on the score for the following month. In this case, x is equal to 4, by using a modified logistic regression formula and inputting the data from the previous quarter. If a program's extrapolated prediction is greater than 50%, the show is likely to air sometime this year. Below that, it will be either happen next year or be scrapped. This will also determine whether or not the network can confirm overpromises the show it offers. With 26 shows left to air, plus a few I missed, over the next 8.5 months, half of the GMA shows may air this year, while the other half may not. Lolong, yes, the world's largest crocodile in captivity, will be a show, is the most likely to appear this year, with a projected score of 67.97. The show is produced by GMA Public Affairs, whose programs are deemed to be of higher quality in terms of storytelling and cinematography than those of their entertainment group. Baldur's 5 Legacy, the most anticipated show in 2 years, comes in second with 65.19. This highly anticipated show was heavily promoted during the 2019-20 New Year's countdown until the COVID-19 pandemic delayed it, and this is the most expensive production venture GMA has ever undertaken. Though unconfirmed, the 5th season of The Clash, third most likely, would be more likely to happen than Sing for Hearts, which had a promo plug aired last year. If this is confirmed, it will be a pity for the latter. If you're a longtime Encantadia fan, Sangre comes fourth on the waiting list. That show is currently in the creative development stage. The Philippine adaptation of K-drama Startup, wherein Bea Calunzo stars for the first time as a Kapuso, is ranked number 5. Raising Mamay and False Positive came in at numbers 7 and 10 respectively, with the former starring I Idolas Alas and the latter starring Cian Lim, who is making his debut project as a Kapuso after Love, Die, Repeat was put on hold. As I said earlier, RM will premiere next week, while FP will debut in May. Number 8 is Nakarehas na Puso, a drama about a ex-convict mother who successfully returned to her family under a different identity in the hopes of mending their broken lives. Underage, a 1980 legal film starring Dina Bonavi, Marisol Soriano, and Snooki Serna, is currently being remade for television and is ranked number 9 on the waiting list. But hold on, didn't we have the former Rivals version way back in 2009? Anyway, let's move on. The Bread House at number 11 deals with the dilemma of preserving the family bakery or converting it into a modern facility. Love You Stranger, Gabby Garcia and Khalil Ramos' first real-life cup project, is at number 12 with 51.55. LYS, like Lolong, is a GMA-PA production. The Village, one of the shows that were supposed to air in 2021 but never did, is hoping for a revival of discussion at number 13. The other 13 are in dangerous territory, and here are some of them. Running Man Philippines, 16th out of 26, is now in danger of not taking place this year, with a projected score of 48.51. This is another show that has been awaiting approval since February 2020, a month before the pandemic. Fans of the original show can stay up to date on their smartphones or watch reruns in Halipop. In materializing RMPH, finding the right kind of talent is one thing, but finding the right places to complete the necessary challenges is another. Bolera, 18th out of 26, which stars Kylie Padilla as a lone lady pool player among the men's game of billiards, is due to air this quarter, but the perceived chance of materialization is 47.50. Love Connections, another program that was supposed to happen in 2021, is the fourth least likely to happen with 45.01. Love, Die, Repeat is the third least likely. Given the maternal duties of leading actress Janelle Mercado after getting pregnant at the lock-in taping last year, with 43.75%. The Witness is the second least likely program. Not to be confused with the GMA Films flick of the same name from a decade ago, the protagonist of that drama was a person with Asperger's syndrome. Witnessing the death of a loved one, he vowed to seek justice through martial arts and his knowledge of road navigation. The story isn't objectionable per se, but finding a leading role in the opportunities film is a different story. With a predicted score of 43.05, Frozen Love is the most unlikely local series to materialize. It is one of the shows originally scheduled for 2021 when GMA's dominance will allow for limitless acquisition and production. It's about a daughter of an ice resurfacer at an ice rink who gets a chance to join the figure skating team when one of its members is injured. His dream Her dream, pala, is put to the test when the injured member returns with a vengeance, resulting in one of the most heated rivalries on and off the ice. There are skating rinks in the country, all of them which unfortunately are concentrated in Metro Manila, but they must scout talent and take the necessary ice skating lessons. Due to ongoing partnerships and sportscasting commitments that preoccupy in their agenda book, TV5 is cautious when it comes to delivering their local entertainment production. They're currently covering their first UAAP season, and in the coming months they will cover SEA Games in Vietnam, the FIBA qualifiers window in June, the FIBA Asia Cup in July, and the Asian Games in September. Anyway, the next local program that is likely to air is the second season of Rolling in the Philippines, which has a 78.96% chance of being materialized, and the audition is underway. The comeback, the most anticipated original reality show, comes in second with 63.56, followed by the second season of The Wall Philippines, which comes in third with 63.32. As I previously stated, Top Class was not promoted during the year-end special, but it was announced later, and they are currently ranked 4th out of 9. Oh My Corona, a comedy starring Ma Salvador, is ranked 5th with 63.18 points. Lakwa Chica, presented by Ethel Buba, is ranked 6th out of 9 after the March survey, and as I mentioned, it is now on the air. The last 3 slots were filled by For Your Eyes Only, Nurse Lovely, and The Vegas Search, all of which scored above 50. As a result, all of the upcoming shows are still hanging there to be delivered within the year. Net25 may not be a national TV network, but it has recently been paid attention by some entertainment gossip websites. At the start of the year, they already aired Keys on Comedy Theater and Anong Sa Palagay Nyo on prime time. Panalo o Talo, their first local show, premiered in March as part of the primetime ng Pamilya Block, starring a prominent talent and a son of master rapper, Elmo Magalona. Peter Kayo Kay Aga Munak's second project after Tara Game Agad-Agad was predicted to be 5th out of 6 pending shows following the February survey. It debuted last March 26 and airs every Saturday at 7 p.m., which marks the final 30 minutes of Masked Singer Pilipinas on Channel 5, where he reprises her role there as a judge detective. With 4 shows yet to be announced, initially from the New Year's countdown, the next show they're looking forward to is Kada 25 or Kada 25, with a score of 56.90, which is a teen-oriented talent show. The Kumbay Village, a children's show, and Tell Old followed closely. Jojo Alihar, who has worked across multiple networks over the last decade, is set to venture into his uncharted territory. But his show, pending show there, Shopping All the Way, may not air, and it may not be a big deal for most of you. He could be scouted for the Billiard Review Media venture, but that's a story for another time. That all being said, Net25, which is only now finding the motivation to compete with commercial behemoths thanks to Wilma Galvante's tactics and strategies, is delivering more than expected, but it's not quite overpromising. GMA's programming delivery is on track, but the public viewers think that they will be overpromised on the anticipated shows awaiting their time to shine this year, and TV5 underperformed in program delivery, but they have not yet overpromised. They believe that the pending programs are adequate for their size and internal industry circumstances. So, what will the trend of the upcoming shows be after this month or quarter? Frankly, nobody knows, but it's up to the programming department. But there's a new monthly sundry survey, the MOS, in the description box below, and screen time. Thank you for watching this video. In the description box, there's also a video suggestions form for the TERP to suggest me a topic. Until then, take care and see you later.